Signum function is defined as y is equal to f of x is equal to this. A signum function is denoted by SGN, signum x, which is equal to 1 if x is greater than 0, 0 if x is equal to 0, and -1 if x less than 0. And a signum function defined as or signum function is defined as y is equal to f of x is equal to signum x, which is equal to absolute value of x over x, or x over absolute value of x if and only if x is different from, when x is different from 0, and 0 if x is equal to 0. If x is equal to 0, when we substitute at the place of x any positive real number, the result is equal to 1. And when we substitute at the place of x 0, signum of 0 is equal to 0, and the signum of any negative real number is equal to -1. Let us see example. 2 times signum x. Let us see solution. Signum of -3 is equal to, signum of -3 is equal to what? Is equal to -1, because -3 is less than 0. When at the place of x we substitute any negative real number, the result is -1, or we can find the value of signum of -3 by using this expression. That means signum of -3 is equal to, at the place of x we substitute -3, therefore absolute value of -3 over -3, which is equal to, absolute value of -3 is 3 over -3 is equal to -1. And also when we find for b signum of 5 is equal to, 1, because 5 is greater than 0. Therefore, when we substitute at the place of x any positive real number, the result is equal to 1. Therefore, signum of 5 is equal to 1, or we can use signum of 5 is equal to absolute value of 5 over 5, which is equal to 5 over absolute value of 5 is equal to 5 over 5, which is equal to 1. And when we find 2 plus signum x, we now by definition value of signum x is 1, 0, and a -1. Then we have to add 2 on the value of signum x, therefore, which is equal to, when x greater than 0, signum x is +1, therefore we have 2 plus 3 if x is greater than 0, and 2 plus 0 if x is equal to 0, because if x is equal to 0, signum of x is 0, therefore 2 plus 0 is equal to signum of 2 plus 2 signum x. Then when x is equal to negative, we get 2 plus -1 if x less than 0. Therefore, this implies that 2 plus signum x is equal to 3 if x is greater than 0, and 2 if x is equal to 0, and 2 plus -1 means 2 minus 1, which is equal to 1 if x less than 0. Solution for D: 2 times signum x. 2 times signum x is different from 2 plus signum x. We know the value of signum x from the given definition. So signum x is equal to, if x greater than 0, signum of x is 1. If x is greater than 0, signum of x is 1. Therefore, we have to multiply 2 times 1 if x greater than 0, and 2 times 0 if x is equal to 0, and 2 times negative 1 if x is less than 0. Therefore, this implies that if x is less than 0. When we see the solution for this function, y is equal to f of x is equal to x plus signum x, which is equal to, when x is, or if x greater than 0, signum of x is 1, therefore x plus 1, x plus 1 if x is greater than 0, and if x is equal to 0, it becomes signum of x is 0, then 0 plus 0 when x is equal to 0 is equal to 0, and if x less than 0, it becomes signum x becomes negative 1, therefore negative 1 plus x is equal to x minus 1 if x is less than 0. In example 1, C, 2 plus signum x is equal to 3 if x is greater than 0, and 2 if x is equal to 0, and 1 if x is less than 0. Domain of f of x means possible values of x in possible value of x in f of x. Possible value of x is x greater than 0, x is equal to 0, x less than 0. This is a possible value of x. This means which is equal to or real number. This is a possible value of x. A possible value of x is or real number. Therefore, domain of f of x means it is a possible value of independent variable of function f. Therefore, the domain of this function is equal to or real number. And when we find range of this function, range of the given function means the possible value of the given function. When we say this function is, let us say y, let us say f of x means which is equal to y. That means a possible value of y means it is range of the given function. In the given function 2 plus signum x, 3, 2, 1 is possible value of y. Therefore, the range of this function is range of f is equal to 3 to 1. When we see range and the domain of signum x, the possible value of x in signum x is or real number. Therefore, the domain of this function signum x is or real number, and range of this function is, this is a possible value of x in this function which is equal to or real number is equal to domain of signum x, and this value is a possible value of y which is equal to range of signum x, which is possible value of y when y is equal to signum x. Gosoota functionii keessa signum functioniin isa tokkodha. Signum function yoo ilaallu y is equal to f of x is equal to signum x is equal to tokko ta'a yoo ta'an positive ta'e, yoo ta'an positive real number ta'e resultiin nu argannu tokkodha. Yoo ta'an immoo walqixa 0 ta'e resultiin nu argannu 0dha. Yoo ta'an negative ta'e immoo negative 1 dha jechuudha. Kana jechuun bakka ta'a positive abbaa barbaanne odoo galchine bakkee kana signum of tokkootis tokko fida, signum of 1/2 soo barbaanne tokkuma fida greater than 0 waan ta'e. Signum of dhibba tokko sodoo jenne tokkuma jechuudha. Kanaafuu signum of any positive real number is equal to 1. Signum of 0 immoo 0 ta'a jechuudha. Yoo x keenya bakka x keenya yoo 0 buusne result nu argannu 0 dha. Bakka x keenya immoo yoo negative galchine result nu argannu negative 1 dha jechuudha. Lakkoofsota 0 dha gadi jiran abbaa barbaanne bakka xaa yoo galchine result keenya negative 1 ta'a jechuudha. Kana immoo karaa biraatiin maal jennee ibsuu dandeenya? Signum x is equal to absolute value of x over x when x is different from 0. Yoo x keenya 0 ta'e garuu result nu argannu maal ta'a? 0 ta'a jechuudha. Bakka xaa kana lakkoofsa negative yoo galchine negative 1 arganna result nu arganna. Negative abbaa barbaanne utuu bakka xaa kana galchine negative, for example, negative 5 over amma bakka xaa kana negative 5 absolute value of negative 5 over bakka xaa negative 5 yoo galchine result keenya negative 1 ta'a. Positive yoo galchine immoo 5 yoo galchine 5 absolute value of 5 over 5 is equal to 1 kenna jechuudha. Kanaafu signum of x is equal to absolute value of x over x ta'uu ni danda'a. Akkasuma immoo yoo 0 ta'e yoo xaan keenya 0 ta'e signum of x keenyas bakka x 0 dha, signum of 0 0 dha jechuudha. Kanaaf possible value of x kun domain jechuudha. Possible value of y jechuun immoo range jechuudha. Possible value of x greater than 0 is equal to 0 less than 0 jechuun real number dha. Kanaaf domain isaa real number. Range isaa garuu possible value of y waan ta'eef 1 0 fi negative 1 ta'a jechuudha range keenya. Kan biraa yoo signum of negative 3 yoo barbaannu negative 1 dha. Signum of 5 1 dha. 2 plus signum of x jechuun 2 plus signum of x in beekna 1 0 fi negative 1 dha. 2 plus 1 if x greater than 0, 2 plus 0 if x is equal to 0 fi 2 plus negative 1 if x is equal to 0 isa asitti hojjenne kana fakkaata jechuudha. Kanaaf signum of negative 3 negative 1 dha because negative 3 is less than 0. Kanaafu signum of negative 3 negative 1 ta'a or signum of negative 3 signum of negative 3 is equal to formii kanaan yoo hojjennu negative 3 square root of negative 3 over negative 3 square root of negative 3 3 dha 3 over negative 3 is equal to negative 1 nu kenna jechuudha. Akkasumas immoo signum of 5 is equal to 1 dha because signum of 5 is equal to positive waan ta'eef jechuudha. 5 is greater than 0 waan ta'eef 2 plus signum of x is equal to signum of x beekna akkuma dura jenne 1 0 fi negative 1 dha. 2 plus 1 3 nu kenna. Akkasumas 2 plus 0 2 nu kenna. 2 plus negative 1 immoo 1 nu kenna jechuudha. Kana jechuun yoo x greater than 0 ta'e 1 waan ta'eef 2 plus 1 ta'a jechuudha. Yoo x greater than 0 ta'e yoo x is equal to 0 ta'e signum of 0 0 dha. 0 plus 2 nu kenna jechuudha. Akkasumas immoo 2 plus negative 1 dha. Yoo x less than 0 ta'e negative 1 dha. Negative 1 plus 2 is equal to 1 nu kenna jechuudha. 2 times signum of x yoo jennu immoo ammas 2 times value signum x in beekna 2 times 1 2 times 0 2 times negative 1 waan ta'eef 2 0 fi negative 2 nu kenna jechuudha. 2 kan nu kennu yoo x keenya greater than 0 ta'e 0 immoo yoo x 0 ta'e negative 2 immoo yoo x less than 0 ta'e kana jechuun yoo x negative ta'e jechuudha. Domainii functionii kanaa yoo barbaannu kan isa kana domainii jechuun value of y asitti argannu kana possible value of x immoo range keenya ta'a. Range isaa real number yoo ta'u domainiin isaa immoo real number yoo ta'u possible value of x waan ta'eef domainii jechuun real number ta'a. Range keenya immoo range keenya 3 2 fi 1 ta'a. Kana keessatti jechuudha. Range isaa yoo barbaannu jechuudha. Akkasumas immoo f of x keenya x plus signum x yoo ta'e f of x is equal to x plus signum x. Signum x value isaanii beekna. Tokko yoo x greater than 0 ta'e 0 dha. Yoo x 0 ta'e negative 1 dha. Yoo x less than 0 ta'e kana eenyu wajjin walitti daana? Xaa wajjin walitti daana jechuudha. Fakkeenyaaf x greater than 0 ta'u signum of x 1 dha. 1 plus x kunoo and yoo xaan 0 ta'e xaan isheen kun 0 dha. Asii signum of 0 0 dha. 0 plus 0 0 nu kenna jechuudha. Akkasumas immoo yoo x less than 0 ta'e signum of x negative 1 dha. Negative 1 plus x minus 1 ta'a jechuudha. Kanaadha domain immoo akkaataa kanaan possible value of x real number dha. Real number jechuun possible value of x jechuun domain keenya ta'a. Possible value of y kun immoo range ta'a jechuudha. Kanaaf range keenya 3,2,1 ta'a jechaadha. Let us see example 4, odd or even. When we find oddness and evenness of function, if f of negative x is equal to negative f of x, then f of x is odd, and if f of negative x equal to with the given function f of x, then that function f of x is even function. Solution for A, f of x, which is equal to signum x is equal to 1 if x is greater than 0, 0 if x is 0, and negative 1 if x less than 0. Then let us find f of negative x. F of negative x is equal to signum of negative x is equal to negative of signum x, which is equal to we know value of signum x in previous definition. Therefore, it becomes negative 1 if x is greater than 0, negative of signum x. Signum x is 1 if x is greater than 0. Then when we multiply by negative 1 if x is equal to x greater than 0, and 0 if x is equal to 0, and signum of x if x is less than 0 is equal to negative times negative is equal to 1 if x is less than 0. This implies that f of negative x is equal to negative of f of x, because f of x is equal to 1, 0, negative 1. Then this implies that f of x is odd. B says that f of x is equal to x cube signum x, which is equal to if x greater than 0, signum of x is 1 times x cube is equal to x cube, and if this is equal to, if x is equal to 0, it becomes signum of x is equal to 0. If x is equal to 0, then 0 times x by itself 0, then it becomes 0, and if x is less than 0, signum of x is negative, therefore negative times x, negative x cube, because signum of x when x is less than 0, negative 1 times x cube is equal to negative x cube. Then to identify the parity of this function, let us see f of negative x, which is equal to f of negative x is equal to negative x cube signum of negative x, which is equal to, this means which is equal to negative x cube. Signum of negative x means times negative signum x, which is equal to negative times negative x cube signum x, which is equal to if x is less than 0. This implies that f of x, which is equal to x cube, 0 and negative x, also equal with f of negative x. F of negative x also equal to x cube, 0 and negative x cube. Therefore, f of x is equal to f of negative x. Therefore, f of x is equal to x cube signum x is even function. Let us see the parity of constant function. If let us take let f of x is equal to a when a is an element of all real number. This is a constant function. When we identify the parity of this function. When this is any real number, f of negative x also is equal to a. Therefore, this implies that f of x is equal to f of negative x. Therefore, f of x is equal to a when a an element of all real number is even. Generally, we conclude that any constant function is even function. Let us say f of x is equal to 5. Also, when we find parity of this function, f of negative x is equal to 5. F of negative x also 5. This shows that f of x is equal to 5 is even function. F of x is equal to signum x in odd damo even ida waan jedhu kana adda baasi jedha. Asittis f of x is equal to x cube signum x in kun even if odd ta'uu isaa adda baasi. Adda baasuudhaaf maal jenna? Functioniin tokko odd dha kan jennuun bakka x negative x bakka buusnee result nu argannu negative of functionii nu kenname sana yoo ta'e odd ta'a. Bakka x negative buusnee yoo deebisnee functionii uma jalqabaa sana arganne functionichi maal ta'a? Even ta'a jechuudha. Then A solution yoo ilaallu f of x is equal to signum x dha. Signum x immoo 1 0 fi negative 1 dha akkuma sila ilaalle. F of negative x in signum of negative x is equal to negative of signum x nu kenna. Kanaaf negative of signum x jechuun immoo signum x in 1 0 fi negative 1 dha. Negative of isa kana jechuun immoo negative 1 0 fi positive 1 dha. Maaliif negative of negative in at x less than 0 signum x in negative 1 dha. Negative 1 times negative in immoo positive nu kenna. Functionii kana yoo ilaallu f of x in isa kana f of negative x in immoo isa kana nu kenna. Kana jechuun f of x in kana ta'ee f of negative x in kana jechuun inni kuni negative of isa kanaati. Kana jechuun generally negative of isa kana yoo jennu negative 1 0 fi negative of negative 1 1 nu kenna. Kana jechuun f of negative x in fi negative of f of x wal qixa ta'ani. Kanaaf f of x is odd ta'ee jechuudha. Birratti yoo ilaallu immoo f of x is equal to x cube signum x dha. Kana yoo hojjennu signum x value isaa beekna. Already 1 0 fi negative 1 dha. X irratti based ta'ee jechuudha. Kanaaf signum of x in yoo x in greater than 0 ta'e 1 dha. 1 times x cube kenna. Signum of x in 0 dha. Yoo x in 0 ta'u 0 times 0 x in mataa isaatiin 0 dha. 0 times 0 0 nu kenna. Yo x in less than 0 ta'u signum of x in negative 1 dha. Negative 1 times negative x cube nu kenna jechuudha. Amma immoo f of negative x yoo barbaadu bakka x eenyu buusna negative x buusna jechuudha. Bakka x ishee kana negative x yoo buusnu cube yoo goonu result nu arganu negative x cube dha. Signum of negative x immoo negative signum x dha wal qixa. Kanaaf negative tana yoo waliin baay'isnu x cube times signum x arganna. Kun immoo x cube 0 fi negative x cube nu kenna. Functioniin as jiru kunii fi functioniin as jiru kun wal fakkaatan. Garuu inni kun f of x dha, inni kun immoo f of negative x. Kana jechuun f of x fi f of negative x wal qixa ta'an. Kanaafuu f of x fi f of negative x wal qixa yoo ta'an functionichi maal ta'a? Even functionii ta'a jechuudha. Kanaaf f of x fi f of negative x wal qixa ta'anii kanaaf f of x keenya even ta'a jechuudha. Kan biraa immoo constant functionii jechuun f of x is equal to a. Yoo n any real number ta'e lakkoofsa bakka a kana kan buusnu lakkoofsa yoo ta'e functionii sun even dha jechuudha. Yeroo kamu f of x is equal to a when a is an element of real number, f of negative x is a dhuma ta'a. Kanaaf f of x fi f of negative x wal qixa. Yoo f of x is equal to a an element of real number ta'e functionii sun even ta'a. Kana jechuun f of x is equal to 5 yoo jennu f of negative x is 5 dhuma ta'a. Kanaaf f of x is equal to 5 is even function. Constant functioning kamu even functioning.